Lesson 3.2, Complex Numbers. How do you define and use the imaginary unit I? Now we're being asked to multiply complex numbers, so let's go ahead and take a closer look. So we have this 2i being multiplied to everything in this parenthesis. So I have 2i times 8, which gives me a 16i, and then 2i times a negative 3i, which gives me a negative 6i squared, because I times I was I squared. Now I remember that I squared is the same exact thing as negative 1. So I have 16i minus 6 times a negative 1, because the I squared was a negative 1. So I have 16i negative 6 times a negative 1 is a positive 6. So I have 16i plus 6. This is correct, but it's not in the form they want. They wanted the real to be first, which was a 6, and the imaginary to come second, so there's my plus 16i. So my final answer is 6 plus 16i. Problem number 7, I have a binomial, which means two-termed parenthesis, being multiplied to another binomial, another two-term parenthesis. We're going to solve this using the area model. The first parentheses on the first side, so that's 7, 7, positive I. Second parentheses, the second side, that's a positive 4, and that's a minus 4i. Now we're just going to multiply and figure out what we have on the inside. So this square right here is 7 times 4, which is a 28. This square right here is 7 times a negative I, which gives me a negative 7i. This square right here is 4 times I, which is a 4i. This square right here is I times negative I, which is a negative I squared. So my final answer is me adding together all four of these. So I have 28 minus 7i plus 4i minus I squared. Combining the like terms, I have 28 negative 7i plus 4i is a minus 3i, and this is minus an I squared. You told me in a previous problem that I squared was the same thing as negative 1. So this is 28 minus 3i minus, now I squared is a negative 1. So I actually have 28 minus 3i, minusing a negative 1 is the same as plus 1. Now I can continue to combine like terms. This 28 plus 1 gives me a 29. So I have 29 minus the 3i, and this is my final answer. Problem number 9. I have a parenthesis to the second power. This means that this parenthesis was written twice because the second power meant the parenthesis was 2 times. And each of those parentheses is 6 minus a 2i. Because it's a bi times a bi, I'm going to go ahead and do my area model. So 6 minus 2i, 6 minus 2i. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times a negative 2i is a negative 12i. 6 times a negative 2i is a negative 12i. Negative 2i times negative 2i is a positive 4i squared. Now you told me that I squared was the same thing as negative 1. So this is actually 4 times a negative 1, which simplifies down to a negative 4. So this square is actually a negative 4. So my final answer is me combining all four of these squares together. So I have 36 minus the 12i minus these 12i, and this is minus 4 because I simplified the I squared. Real can go with real, so my real goes with my real, and I end up having 32. Imaginaries can only go with imaginaries, and that is a minus 24i. It is the real followed by the imaginary. I cannot be simplified any further, so this is my final answer. There are 3 problems left on the page. Please do these 3 problems for independent practice.